4, tabbed interaction. Ready? First thing we want to do is name, tabbed. Just get into the habit of doing these things so it doesn't turn into a pain in the ass later. Once I get in here, we know the next thing that I want to do is go to design. Over here on the left, story size. I want to change that to 16 by 9. Excuse me. For some reason, I like to do 900. See, the ratio stays the same, so 900, 506. Kind of my thing. I like it. Really nice. Then I want to come back to the home, go to my player. And here, of course, once it pops up, I just want to get rid of the things that I do not want. This coincides with that whole idea of not making this look like it was done in storyline, which, I don't know, whatever. So once it's blue like that, you see I have these 2 arrow options here, so I can go up, up. And all I'm doing is moving that around. And here it is in the left, which is where I like it. I don't want a title. There's not going to be any audio, never will be, and the captions are gone as well. Okay? So I'm going to do all that. I do want to change the color. And I just do color and effects and then show advanced color editing. And then here I have my base and go to main background. I'm just going to turn that to white. Just trying to keep this as simple as possible. So we're good. I'm going to hit OK here, and here's my design space. Now the first one that we do, if you remember, it was going to be using the layers. Layers are good if you want it to build out, right? So like objectives, let's say. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to pick a button here, and I'm going to draw it, and I'm just going to call this Objective 1. And one thing that we didn't do in class is I made all those buttons right away. Here what I want to do is just like we were going to do the layers. I'm going to make this button. I'm going to keep it blue, but I'm going to mess with my states. And I haven't visited right now, so I'm just going to edit states. I'm going to add one. I'm going to call that selected like we do. Do add, and that's fine. So, but I am going to do that button border. I'm going to do the button border black. And we're good, right? So I'm going to do that. Then I'm just going to duplicate. Done editing. So now I'm going to do, oh wait. Oh, that's not a good idea. There. So just make sure everything's in the same spot all the time too. So now that I have that, I'm just going to do 3 this time. So just did Control C, Control V, which is copy and paste. I want this to be right about here, this to be right about here, and this to be right about here. That's 1. This is 2. So far so good. We're great on the size. And this one is going to be 3. That's okay. I think we did pretty good with the size. I can see the space here is not okay, right? So there's not as much space here as there is here. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight them all. And again, I'm okay with this first one and last one with that position. So now I'm just going to go to, I like doing it this way better. So arrange, align, and distribute vertically, which is up and down. You saw that move a little bit. So there we are. Here is our tabbed interaction. I'm going to click on all these and go to states. You can see that I have a selected that's orange, selected that's orange, and a selected that's orange. So everything worked out really well there. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make my first layer, and I'm just going to call it 1. And I'm not going to make the other ones yet just because I'm going to do the same thing I did with the buttons there. So Objective 1, I'm going to just do Control T. That gets me my text box. So for, I'm just start typing for Objective, whoa. For Objective 1, you will learn what is being posted. I know that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to grab this text. I'm going to put it right here. See, that looks really nice. Yeah. And one thing is I want that, do you see that little tail here, this tail? I want that to be right in the middle there. So I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to do Grid Lines. That's not true. Guides. Guides. See, Guides gives me these. So I'm just going to grab this and pull it down and put it right in the middle of that. That's close enough. You see what I'm saying there. So you can use these grids as something as well. So I have that. And now I want to do my animation like it did, so I'm just going to do a line again. Grab that line right here at the end, draw it. Okay, and I want that to be black with a weight of about 2. Move this out of the way so we can actually see it. And like I said, I'm going to do an animation. So I'm going to pull this animation. I like to do the wipe in this sense. So when I do wipe, and I want it to come from the left as if it comes from the button, I'm going to make it go pretty quick here at 0.50 because it's so small. So go to timeline. So if that's 0.50, then I want my text to show up at 0.50 with a fly-in from the left. Oh, excuse me, from the right. Okay? So now we know that this is going to change color. That is going to come out real light. And then, you know, these are things you don't have to do. It's just the little nuances that I like to do to make it just a little bit more interesting and appealing. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to my tab. I'm going to click on this button. See, button 1. I am going to change these. 1, 2, whoa, TWO, and 3. Here we go. 1. It says 1, add trigger. I want to show a layer, right? So I'm going to show layer 1 when user clicks 1. Preview this. And here I go, objective 1. Beautiful, right? I'm going to close this. And darn it if I don't have to get rid of... Oh, actually, you know what? I need those. So I'll keep those on there for now. So there we go. So now that I have this intricate nature of having animations and text and size and all that stuff, all I want to do is keep that the same. So I'm going to right-click over here. I'm going to say duplicate. Once I duplicate, I'm going to say 2. And now I'm just going to do Control-A because the only thing in here is my animations in my text box. I'm going to pull that down. Okay? And then, of course, this is going to say change for objective 2. You would do things. Okay? So that all I have to do now is come back here, click on 2, make sure that's right. So show layer what? 2. When user clicks 2. Hit OK. Preview the slide. Click objective 1. That looks really nice. Exactly how I wanted. Objective 2. Oh, darn it. It disappeared. So we all know that I have to come over here now, double click, and uncheck that hide, right? And say OK. Now, I'm not going to do it for 3. You get the point there. This should be enough to kind of get you moving. But there's a million options that you can do with all of these. Next up, I'm just going to go ahead and say New Slide and go to Basic Layouts. I'm going to keep it blank. And now I'm going to do States. Now with States, now these things are annoying me. So I'm just going to move them out of the way for now. In case I need them later. Move these out of the way. Now for States, I'm going to do the same thing. I already know these buttons have what I need. So I'm going to grab one of them, specifically this one, Command-C, Command-V, which is Control-C, Control-V for you PC users. And I'm going to put this up here, and this is going to be Step, like we did, Step 1. And that does seem to be a little large, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And width is, I'm going to do 125. How about that? And Control-C-V. We'll do 3 again. So this time I want them to be pretty far apart, I guess, huh? That's fine. So highlight them all. Come back to Home, Arrange, Align. I'm going to do Align Top first. Okay, that worked out. And then I'm going to distribute vertically. No. Horizontally. And then it moved a little bit. So that was pretty close. Just going to change these now to TWO. Change this one here to 3. And we're good. I don't like how that one is not. Seems a little bit more space there. Okay, so now I got to do this again. Okay, good. So those are my buttons that we're going to click. Now I need to kind of put together a little area of where my text is going to show up. So I do this. Again, remember, this is unbelievably obnoxious, this round. This one is nice and appropriate. So I'm just going to pull this back to make this also nice and appropriate. I want the shape fill to be white, and I want my outline to be black. Okay? I don't know why I do things like what I'm about to do, but I do them. I can't get it out of my head, so I'm going to do it. So for some reason, I think this is what this module needs, so I did it. Okay, we're good, right? Now we need to make our book. Yeah? So our book, I just want to move these down a little bit. Our book is going to have chapters, which would be the steps. So I'm going to go ahead, insert, and do text box, and just draw it right here. And I'm going to say exactly what I did in class. Your very first state shouldn't be any of the content that you want to visit. It should just be something arbitrary. So I'm just going to say, like I did, click the steps above to learn more. Very classic phrase. So now that I have this text box, this is my book. So I need to name my book, which I'm going to call Steps. And then once I'm inside, I can go to States and say Edit States. I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to call that 1. Add another one, call that 2. Add another one, call that 3. And now all I have to do is, I'm not going to make these things too crazy here, so I'm just going to make sure number 1, and I'm going to call that Step 1. This is 2. I'm going to call this Step 2. This is 3. I'll call it Step 3. Okay? So here's our book called Steps. Normal is just the directions, and then 1, 2, and 3 are going to be, of course, everything that you want to do. And this came up in class. Let me just show you something here. So I'm in step 1. States can be anything, right? So it's almost like a new design space. So here I am in step 1, edit states. And say I want to put a picture in here. So I'm going to go icon, barrel, 1. These are cool, so I'm going to do this. Okay, so we'll do that. You can do pictures, you can do anything. So here we are in 2, so this time I'm going to do a illustration. 2. What do you think 2 is going to be? Ah, that makes sense. I don't know. I kind of like this guy here. Whoa, he's huge. Okay, that looks terrible. So I'm going to double click. I don't know why they would do that. Crop it. Okay, great. And then I'm going to come over here to 3. And you don't even really need to do any of those things if you want. You can also bring a picture in from a file, which I don't even know if I have any. What's this one? What's going on in here? Images, nice. Mushroom. Ah, look at that. So I'll put him on here. Done editing states. Now all I have to do is come back here. So I have 1. I have this button 1 right here. I want that to not show a layer, but to change the state. Change the state of my book, which I called Steps, to chapter 1. When user clicks 1. So here I am on 2, and do the same thing. I'm going to change it. I want to change the state. I want to change the state of the book to the chapter 2 when user clicks 1, 2. Well, you see what's going on there, but whatever. So now again, change the state. of the chapter book. When user clicks, 1, 3. But I want that to be 3. So 1, change it to 1. 2, change it to 2. 3, change it to 3. Preview this slide. Okay, so you want me to click above? I can do that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. See that? The weird thing is, again, once we chose selected. See that? So every time that it's selected, it's going to do that. We don't want that. We want to have it say visited. So I'm going to say edit states. And I got to go visited. Say delete visited. Duplicate selected, but call it visited. Done editing. And I'm going to keep selected, and I'll show you why here in a second. Edit states. Delete visited. Duplicate selected. And we're good. And done editing. Finally, we're going to do this third one. Edit states. Delete visited. Duplicate selected. And we're good, right? So one thing that I want to do is visited is one thing, but selected is another. Selected means that we're actually in that one at the moment. So here what I get, I'm going to do this as well. So I'm going to go to selected here. I'm going to come back up here, go to insert, go to shape, and I'm just going to draw a line from here to here. Okay? And I don't know if that's black or not. Okay? Done editing. And then I'm going to go to here. Same thing, edit states, go to selected, grab a shape, make sure that it's black to match, done editing, and then finally I'll do it here, edit states. Hey, how did that? Oh, that's weird. I didn't do that right, obviously. So I have a state for that one? Oh, so edit states, that was weird. Insert, shape, line, and we're good. So now what we're going to see is this visited, but also we're going to see a selected with that little line there. So let's preview this. Step 1, see the line. Step 2, see the line. Step 3, see the line. Cool? Great. Now one thing that we would definitely do, but we're not getting to that. So I just wanted to show you some extra things that you could definitely do. So here is your layered one. Okay, come back and do this. You know how to do that. It's just a matter of putting them together, making one, duplicating it, and then aligning it. You know how to do your buttons. Know how to do all that stuff. So this is tabbed interaction using both layers and states.